It was raining the night everything changed. Not the soft romantic rain you see in movies, but the aggressive November downpour that soaks through everything in seconds. We were standing outside the venue after my book signing, and I'd realized I'd forgotten my umbrella in the car. "Stay here," Natasha said, her voice clipped and professional like always. "I'll bring the car around." But I was tired. Tired of being protected. Tired of being treated like something fragile. Tired of the invisible wall between us that had been driving me insane for 6 months. "I'm coming with you," I said. She turned to look at me, those green eyes assessing like she was calculating threat levels. "Miss Chun, it's pouring. There's no reason for both of us to get wet. Then we'll both get wet." I pushed past her into the rain before she could argue. Heard her curse under her breath and follow. The parking lot was 3 blocks away. By the time we reached it, we were both soaked. My dress was plastered to my body, my hair hanging in wet strings. Natasha's tactical gear was dripping. Her short dark hair slicked back. She looked at me like I was the most frustrating person she'd ever met. "That was incredibly stupid," she said. "Getting pneumonia is not part of my protection protocol. Maybe I don't want to be protected all the time. That's not how this works." "How does it work, Natasha? You follow me everywhere. You're there when I wake up and there when I go to sleep. You know everything about me. But I know nothing about you except that you're very good at your job. That's all you need to know. Is it?" We were standing in the rain, water running down both our faces, and something in me just broke. Because I think I need to know why you look at me the way you do sometimes. When you think I'm not paying attention, I don't, you do. And I need to know if I'm imagining it. If I'm projecting. If these 6 months of watching you and wanting you and trying not to, want you have been completely one-sided. She didn't answer. Just stared at me with rain dripping off her face and something desperate in her eyes. "Natasha, please, tell me I'm not crazy." "You're not crazy," she whispered. And then she kissed me. Right there in the parking lot in the pouring rain. She grabbed my face in both hands and kissed me like she'd been holding back for 6 months and couldn't anymore. I kissed her back, tasted rain and desperation and everything we'd both been refusing to say. When we broke apart, we were both breathing hard. "I can't do this job anymore," she said. "If I stay, I'll keep kissing you. And that's not professional. And it's not safe. For either of us." "Then quit," I said. "Quit and kiss me again. Tell me where you're watching from. Drop your city in the comments below. And if stories like mine resonate with you, please hit that subscribe button. Your support helps this channel reach people learning that sometimes the most romantic moments happen in the rain when you stop pretending you don't feel what you feel. My name is Dr. Olivia Chen, and this is the story of how my bodyguard Natasha Volkov kissed me in the rain. How that moment ended her career and started our relationship. And how getting soaked in a parking lot became the most important night of my life. I never expected to need a bodyguard. I'm a clinical psychologist, wrote a book about trauma recovery that unexpectedly became a bestseller. Suddenly, I was on talk shows, doing book tours, getting recognized at airports. With visibility came attention. Most of it good, some of it not. The death threats started 3 months after the book came out. Anonymous emails about how I was destroying traditional family values. How my secular approach to therapy was demonic. How someone needed to stop me. My publisher insisted on security. I resisted. I didn't want to live like I was in danger. Didn't want a stranger following me everywhere. But after the 10th threat that included my home address, I agreed. Elite Protection Services sent Natasha Volkov. Natasha was 36, ex-military intelligence, trained in executive protection and threat assessment. She arrived at my house on a Tuesday morning looking like she could dismantle a bomb and attend a state dinner in the same afternoon. "Dr. Chen," she said, her handshake firm. "I've reviewed the threat profile. You're being targeted by at least 3 separate individuals, 2 of whom have violent criminal histories. My job is to keep you alive. That means I'll be with you constantly. Can you handle that?" I thought I could. I was wrong. Having Natasha in my life was like having a shadow made of competence and intensity. She was everywhere. In my office during therapy sessions, sitting outside. At coffee shops where I met friends. In my house when I tried to have privacy, she was professional to the point of being almost robotic, spoke only when necessary, maintained perfect distance. But I noticed things. The way she'd scan every room we entered. The way she positioned herself between me and potential threats. The way she'd bring me coffee without being asked, made exactly how I liked it. The way she'd sometimes look at me when she thought I wasn't paying attention, with something in her eyes that looked almost like longing. 3 months in, I started catching myself thinking about her, wondering about her life before this job, her time in military intelligence, whether she had someone waiting for her at home, whether she ever thought about me the way I was increasingly thinking about her. I asked once, during a long drive to a speaking engagement, "Natasha, tell me about yourself. What would you like to know?" "Anything. Everything. You know my entire life. I know nothing about you." "That's the job, Dr. Chen. You're the principal. I'm the protection. So we can't be people?" "We can be people, just not with each other." It felt like a door slamming. I stopped asking, but I didn't stop noticing. Didn't stop the way my heart would speed up when she'd put her hand on my back to guide me through a crowd. Didn't stop looking for her first thing every morning. Didn't stop falling for a woman who worked for me and could never reciprocate without losing her career. 6 months in, I was scheduled for a book signing in Seattle. November. Cold, rainy. The event was at a bookstore downtown, and 200 people showed up. I signed books for 3 hours, smiled until my face hurt, answered the same questions over and over. Natasha was nearby the whole time, watching. When it finally ended, I was exhausted, wanted nothing except to go back to my hotel and sleep. We walked outside and I realized it was pouring. Not just raining, a full Pacific Northwest downpour. "I forgot my umbrella in the car," I said. Natasha pulled out her keys. "Stay here. I'll bring the car around. No reason for you to get wet." And something in me just snapped. I was so tired of being protected. So tired of the distance. So tired of being treated like I needed to be kept dry and safe and separate. "I'm coming with you." She tried to argue. I didn't care. Pushed past her into the rain. Let the water soak through my dress. Felt the cold against my skin and felt more alive than I had in months. We walked 3 blocks to the parking garage. Didn't speak. Just walked through the rain like we were testing each other. When we reached the car, I turned to face her. Rain was running down both our faces. Her hair was slicked back. She looked furious and beautiful and so carefully controlled that I wanted to break through that control and see what was underneath. "That was incredibly stupid," she said. "Why?" "You could get sick." So? "So my job is to keep you safe. That includes from preventable illnesses." "What if I don't want to be kept safe all the time? What if I want to live?" "That's not how this works, Dr. Chen." "Stop calling me Dr. Chen. My name is Olivia." "And you've been in my life for 6 months. You're in my house every day. You know my coffee order, you know my schedule better than I do. You know everything about me. But you won't tell me your last name without Ms. Volkov attached." "Why?" "Because that's professional distance. That's the boundary that keeps this relationship appropriate." "What if I don't want appropriate?" She stared at me. Rain dripping off her face, something breaking in her eyes. "Olivia, tell me I'm imagining it. The way you look at me sometimes. The way your hand lingers when you touch my back. The way you make my coffee without being asked because you've memorized exactly how I take it. Tell me that's just professional competence and I'm projecting." "You're not projecting." "Then what is it?" It's me trying very hard not to cross a line that would end my career and possibly compromise your safety." "What line?" "The line where I stop being your bodyguard and start being the woman who's completely in love with you." The rain was loud, cars passing on the street. But all I could hear was that confession hanging in the air between us. "You're in love with me," I said quietly. "Yes." "For how long?" "Since about week 3. When you let that teenager at the coffee shop cry on your shoulder for 20 minutes because she'd just been kicked out by her parents. You had a meeting, you were late. You didn't care. You just sat there and told her she was going to be okay and gave her resources for LGBTQ+ youth shelters. That's when I knew I was in trouble. Why didn't you say anything? Because I work for you. Because my job is to protect you, not want you. Because the moment I cross that line, everything becomes compromised. My objectivity, my ability to do this job correctly. Your safety. I don't care about any of that. You should. Natasha, I've been falling for you for 6 months. Do you know how hard it's been watching you every day and not being able to say anything? Not being able to touch you? Not being able to ask if you feel what I feel. I feel it, she whispered. I feel it every single day. And it's killing me. Then kiss me. Olivia. Kiss me. Right now. In this parking lot in the rain. Kiss me and we'll figure out everything else later. If I kiss you, I have to quit. The company has strict policies. I can't be in a relationship with a client. Then quit. It's my career. I know. And I wouldn't ask if idea in single quotes t. I stopped, took a breath. If I didn't love you, but I do. I love you. And I think you love me. And life is too short to not kiss the person you love because of professional policies. She stared at me for a long moment. Rain pouring down. Both of us soaked. And then she grabbed my face in both hands and kissed me. It wasn't gentle. It was desperate and raw and everything we'd both been holding back for 6 months. I kissed her back, my hands tangled in her wet hair, tasting rain and relief and finally being honest. When we broke apart, we were both breathing hard. I love you, she said. I've loved you for 6 months and tried so hard not to. But I do. I love you. I love you too. I have to quit Elite Protection. I know. You'll need new security. The threats are still active. I'll hire someone else. Someone I'm not in love with. Promise me you'll take your safety seriously. I promise. But Natasha? Yeah? Kiss me again first. She did. Right there in the rain in a Seattle parking lot, we kissed like we were making up for 6 months of not kissing. Like we were starting something that neither of us knew how to finish, but both of us wanted anyway. Natasha quit Elite Protection the next day. Called her supervisor, explained the situation, and officially resigned. I hired a different security company, an older man named Marcus, who was thoroughly professional and reminded me of my father. The threats continued for another 3 months before the FBI caught the main perpetrator, a man with a history of targeting female authors he deemed too secular. He's currently serving 8 years. After that, I scaled back security to just events. Marcus retired. I went back to private practice. Natasha opened a self-defense studio teaching tactical skills to women in vulnerable situations. We moved in together 6 months after the rain kiss. Got engaged a year later. Married in a small ceremony with close friends and family 2 years after that. People ask if it's strange that we met as bodyguard and client, if there's a power dynamic we had to navigate. My answer is always the same. Natasha never had power over me. She had a job protecting me, which she did with complete professionalism. When that job ended, we were just 2 women who loved each other. That's not a power dynamic. That's just love. The rain kiss is still my favorite memory. Natasha jokes that I have a flair for drama, choosing a downpour to force a confession. I tell her she's the one who made it dramatic by waiting 6 months to kiss me. We both know we're lucky. Lucky that the threats ended. Lucky that we found each other. Lucky that sometimes professional distance breaks down and reveals exactly what was underneath the whole time. If you've ever fallen for someone you weren't supposed to fall for, if you've ever had to choose between following rules and following your heart, if you know what it's like when rain becomes the backdrop for the most important moment of your life, I want to hear your story. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from. And please subscribe to help these stories reach people learning that sometimes you have to get soaked to find out what you really want. Thank you for being here, for listening, for understanding that love doesn't care about professional protocols, and sometimes the rain is exactly where you need to be.